To kick things off, I wanted to introduce myself in the session. So today's session is all around streamlining your workflows on one infinite canvas in Miro. My name's Terrence Caldwell. I am the platform product marketing lead at Miro. A couple of quick facts about me. So I was born in Denver, Colorado. I now live in Santa Monica. So I made the move from the mountains to the beach and am not regretting it for a second there. Second thing, I am a huge basketball fan. And for any other basketball fans in attendance, you probably know that I am on a pretty big high today because my favorite team, the Denver Nuggets, won a Game 7 last night in the playoffs. And then finally, I know a lot of us are still sort of in quarantine life and have probably increased our consumption of Netflix. So the current show that I'm watching on Netflix is a docu-series featuring or produced by Zac Efron called Down to Earth, where he's traveling around the world and sort of studying best practices from other countries around sustainability practices. So that's a little bit about me, a little bit about Miro. So Miro is an online collaborative whiteboard platform, and it's really where distributed teams work together as if they're in the same room, regardless of location. And we've got a little over, we actually have close to 8 million users worldwide and across some of the largest companies across the board. And I think as many of you probably know, if you are familiar with Miro and sort of what the tool does, we've seen an incredible influx of growth in users since sort of since the COVID pandemic. Obviously, not a positive for the world, but it has been sort of a positive for people realizing the value of the product and what we offer. So really quick agenda for today. So really what I want to cover today is how Miro and the Miro platform integrates with the other tools and services that you use. So I started off the session asking that question around how many browser tabs that you have open. And that's directly related to this session because I really want to show you how with Miro, you can start to sort of create seamless workflows and connect the tools that you're using with Miro so that you can visualize some of those things within a single Miro board, or bring that Miro board into some of those other tools so you can sort of not have as much of that browser tab fatigue or that context switching fatigue as we see sort of a proliferation of different apps and services. And so again, going back to that first question, one of the observations that we have is just around how the way teams collaborate and work together is really rapidly changing and evolving. So we've seen studies done that show that the average mid-sized company has about 120 apps that the company uses or that their employees are using across the board. So obviously huge proliferation of technology, of software and workplace apps. Two, increasingly teams are distributed, and now obviously with what's happened with the pandemic, increasingly remote. And so what we're seeing and hearing from a lot of our customers is adoption of new tools or expansion of use of the tools that they already had. So more and more use of those tools. And so I think today's demo and conversation is very topical based on sort of what we're seeing. So again, the way that I'm going to go through this is I want to cover a few of the types of integrations that we have with different tools, show you exactly how they work within Miro. So I want to get started with our most popular and commonly used integration, which is our integration with cloud storage providers that allow you to access and embed files from right within your Miro whiteboard. So probably the most powerful integration that we have here is with Google Drive, where you can bring Google Drive files directly into your Miro board, edit them, and sort of collaborate and visualize them all within the whiteboard canvas. And so there's a couple ways that you can pull Google Doc files into a Miro board. The common way that I do it is literally just going over to a Google Doc or a Google file, copying the link, and then pasting it directly on the board. And so what Miro does when you do that is we'll actually render that file right within the whiteboard. And so I can go in, I can resize this, make it bigger, make it smaller. But where Miro is really powerful is I can actually edit this file without having to leave the board. So again, talking about tab fatigue, I can go in, I can directly edit this Google Doc from within Miro. So without ever having to leave Miro, you can see I can go in, I can really quickly highlight text. I can close that out. And then you'll see that Miro will automatically update that file. So, so that highlighting is rendered within the file. So really quick way that you can sort of collaborate, embed files, and then visualize them within the Miro canvas. And then any file that you've added to Miro, you can also go directly to the source of that file as well. This file itself has a few different pages, so we can extract those and also include all of those pages within the Miro board. So I'm going to do that and show you what that looks like. So I've added now the 4 additional pages so that anyone who has access to this board can see all of those pages from right there within Miro. So that's the integration with Google Drive. We have similar integrations with Dropbox, Adobe Creative Cloud, and OneDrive and Box. Wanted to really quickly show you another another way to get into that file upload experience from within Miro. So I can just go over to my my collaboration toolbar within Miro. You see that I have it customized so that it's filled with some of the integrations that I have installed. I can go to upload, access my Dropbox folder, go ahead and select a file that I have. I have a PDF in Dropbox that I want to bring into the board. And again, I can embed that right onto the page. If I want to enable any sort of collaboration, I can also do that right from Miro. So if I want to go in and use the pin tool and maybe circle a section that I want someone to look at, I can do that, or add a comment for one of my colleagues like Joanna. Hey, Joanna, take a look at the doc that I just uploaded. And then Joanna will get a notification. So really quick, really easy way that you can sort of streamline the way that you collaborate with documents, bring them onto a visual board so anyone can sort of see them in one place and also collaborate with them. This is probably my favorite feature within Miro, but in addition to being able to access files, view them, and then also edit Google files, you can actually take Google Spreadsheets, CSV or Excel files, and you can copy and paste the rows and convert those into sticky notes on the Miro board. So I'm just going to copy some of the rows from this Google spreadsheet, come back to my Miro board, and just using a Command C, Command V, I'm going to paste those rows onto the board. And what you'll see is that Miro will automatically convert those into sticky notes. So have a lot of workflows where we have design or product teams who will list they'll list users or different features within a spreadsheet, and then if they want to sort of manipulate those or move around or collaborate on those sticky notes with their team, they can do that, importing them into the board as sticky notes directly from a spreadsheet. So the really high level takeaway here is really we see Miro being a place where you can centralize all of your project assets in a single place. So you can imagine a world where as you go from sort of ideation and research phase of your project all the way through finalized designs or execution, you can capture the entire journey of that process all within Miro, attach spreadsheets, attach your PDFs, and then also convert any of those spreadsheets into sticky notes. And so all of that can live within your Miro board. The second type of integration that I want to talk to you about is our integration with task tracking and project management solutions. So as you think about, we think about Miro, and we really see it as the tool that connects teams and allows them to work cross-functionally and getting, again, from all the way from idea and concept through execution or launch. And so a big part of that is, how do you take unstructured brainstorming ideation work and then convert that into more structured plan work? And so one of our most powerful, if not the most powerful integration that we have is with Jira, where you can embed live Jira tasks within a Mural Board as a card. And so if I look at this, this is a Jira card that's been embedded within the Mural Board. You can see I have access to who the task is assigned to, the task type, as well as the assignee. And you can actually go both ways of adding existing Jira tasks to your Mural Board or creating Jira tasks from your Mural Board. And so I'll walk you through sort of what both of those look like. And so if we think about the flow that I just discussed, where maybe your team starts with a collaborative brainstorm, where you're talking about the different features that you want to add to a collaborative online whiteboard platform. And as your team is sort of going through this live sticky note exercise, and you can see some of the cool things that we have with sticky notes, like the ability to color them, add text, also tags. But imagine that your team goes through this sticky noting exercise where everyone's contributing their own thoughts and ideas in real time. You can see Joanne, who's with me in real time, and I can see her contributing more sticky notes. And then as you sort of move from just raw brainstorming and getting all of those features and ideas, we can start to cluster those all within the Miro board. And so using some of our features like our dot voting, we can go in and we can start adding dots. So for each person who's on the meeting or within the workshop to contribute sort of their perspective on what they feel is the most important features to be added. So we can start seeing some of these natural categorization as individuals start to move the sticky notes around. But what's powerful is then we can actually, all within a single session, or multiple sessions, synchronously or synchronously, we can now start to shape, sort of go from, again, raw brainstorming into how do we organize that and plan work. So here we actually have a prioritization template that we've used for Miro. So if you're new to Miro, one of the most powerful things that we have is a template library where you can go in and access best practice templates for running different cross-functional collaboration practices. We also just added actually Miroverse, which is our community generated template library. So anyone who is a Miro user can contribute their own templates there. So we just use this really quick and easy category prioritization framework where we prioritize all the sticky notes from high, medium to low. So this is sort of where the Jira integration comes into play. So once we've gone through the exercise of brainstorming, clustering, and now prioritization, now we can actually start to assign some of these sticky notes to others and actually create structured work from them. So all within Miro, we can go in, we can take this sticky note and we can convert it to a Jira issue. So I can go in, I can assign the different issue type, I can give it a priority set based on sort of what the clustering exercise said, and convert it right there on the fly. And so you can see here from sticky note all the way to Jira ticket from within Miro, never having to leave the application. And in addition to being able to convert sticky notes to Jira tasks, you can also bring Jira tasks into Miro Board, so you can start to visualize all of that planned work. So maybe you did a brainstorming exercise to contribute new features, but maybe you already had a certain backlog of features that you also want to contribute. So I can access my Jira instance from within Miro. I can go in and I can start adding additional tasks that already exist in the Jira board as well. And so you can see I've added those, and then I've used another template here that is sort of a road mapping or backlog grooming template. So now I can start to move those around on this template. So I just imported these tasks. I can start to move those around to show which sprints they belong in or what their priority is. So again, all within Miro, I've been able to go from the initial sort of concepting all the way through structuring and planning work. And then using another one of our templates, we have a Kanban board template, I can start to place those in backlog, in progress, and done. And so that is, the Jira integration is by far our most powerful on the task tracking side, but we also have similar integrations that are just a little more simplified for Asana, for Azure DevOps, and also for CA Rally. So being able to bring all of those into a Miro board. So that's task tracking. The third one I want to talk about is how you can collaborate and bring in different design components into your Miro board. So the first thing that I want to show you is the ability, we have these different icon sets that you can leverage within Miro. So again, anytime I want to access the different apps and plugins that are available, I just go to these three dots. And you can see that I have a whole host of options here for plugins, but the two that I want to call out here are one, the icon finder, which is actually, it's outside of this. But if I were to use maybe in Azure, if I'm doing some architectural diagramming, I can go and I can access all of these icons from within Miro and add them directly to the board. And so you can see this becomes very powerful as you're using Miro for a very lightweight diagramming and prototyping tool. One of my most commonly used features is actually you can perform a Google image search from right within Miro as well. So if I wanted to go in and search maybe beach because I live near the beach and I can't get enough of it, I can do a Google search and I can add that image right to the board without having to leave the board and go into Google. So really quick, really easy tools that designers can use to start building out sort of low fidelity wireframes and prototypes. For things that exist within other tools, we also have the ability to embed iframes within a Miro board. So I have this prototype within InVision that I've built. I can embed that within the Miro board. Anyone who has access to the board can go in, they can go through and interact with that prototype from right within Miro. And so this is again where we can then start to build in some of the collaborative features. If I want someone to take a look, at this prototype, I can again ask Joanna to take a look at the latest. And then we can begin sort of collaborating from there. Our most powerful integration on this front is our integration with Sketch, where you can actually bring in artboards that you've created in Sketch and update those. So I've actually got a Sketch file open that I'm going to go to where I have this artboard. So I'm going to just go up to plugins. I've got the Miro plugin installed, and I'm going to sync the selected artboard to my Miro board. So you'll see that this will load. I'll select the board that I'm on. And I believe this adds the file here. And so I can add this sketch file to within my Miro board, and then any updates that I make to this file in Sketch, I can also, those updates can automatically be reflected in Miro. So if I go back to Sketch, if I make any sort of changes to this, say I want to add a blur, I can again select that artboard, go to plugins, Miro, and sync those changes directly to Miro. And so you can see the blur has been added to the image. So really quick way that you can add your sketch files, your InVision prototypes, and also similar to InVision, you can also embed your Figma prototypes as iframes within the Miro board as well. So you can see I have this interactive Figma prototype that I've added to the board. So again, really quick way to consolidate all of your work into a single canvas that anyone can access. And so we see a lot of our design agencies who are using Miro, or a lot of our UI and UX designers, when they're actually presenting during design reviews or during design sprints, they'll bring all of their assets into a single board and use that as the presentation mechanism rather than going into maybe the native design tool. And then the last tool that I wanted to share with you is actually a Miro tool. It's our sticky recognition or our sticky capture tool. And so imagine back when we were all able to be in offices and actually using physical whiteboards and Post-it notes. So Miro allows for sort of that analog to digital conversion. So what you can do is actually take an image. You can take a photo using the camera on your phone. You can take an image of all your Post-its on a whiteboard, and you can convert those to digital stickies within Miro. And so I'll show you exactly what that looks like. If I go over to my sticky captures tool, and I have it on the desktop, I've got this picture that I took of Post-it notes. And Miro is going to be using OCR technology to read and parse all of the words on the sticky notes and then convert them into digital sticky notes on the board. So I can go in and resize those. And then again, I can do all the things that I can normally do within a Miro sticky note, like change the color, add a tag, or add an emoticon. And so really quick way for, if you're running live design sprints or design reviews, to quickly take sort of all of the things that happen within that design review and then add them to a Miro board. And so last, I just also want to show how this all comes together. Miro also has a wireframing template and component library. So if I want to actually create low fidelity wireframes from within Miro, I can do that. We've got all these components for web, for mobile as well, and icons, so that I can start building out these lightweight wireframes within Miro, and then I can use things like the connection lines to start building relational diagrams between any of those. And so as you can see, Miro, you can go all the way from sticky noting to being able to completely run through UX flows or different wireframes, all using the tools that you have available to you within the Miro canvas. So see that we have, I think we have about 5 minutes left. The last two things I want to share with you are, so all of the things that I shared before are how do you bring other tools that you're using into the Miro board and the canvas so that you can interact and engage with them and collaborate with your teams on them within Miro. But we also see, the power in being able to go the other way, as well as being able to embed your Miro boards into the other tools that you use. And so our Live Embed product enables you to do just that. And so if you imagine we run a brainstorm within Miro, and we want to capture everything that happened within that brainstorm and share that with external stakeholders, you can embed live Miro boards within your other tools like Confluence. And so you can see this Confluence page has a live Miro board. So anyone, and you can control the access of this board when you embed it. So anyone can go to this Confluence page, not have to go back to Miro. They can actually interact with the board right from on the Confluence page. And so you have access to all your collaboration tools there embedded. And so we have a similar experience to that in Jira, in Microsoft Teams, in Airtable, in Coda, and Trello. We're currently working with Notion as well to have that embedded whiteboard experience. And then the last one that we have are Slack and Microsoft Teams integrations, very similar to other tools where you can stay on top of all of your notifications that you're getting in Miro, from within Slack and Microsoft Teams. If I switch over to Slack really quickly, you can see not only can I see notifications from Slack, but I can also create Mural boards from directly within a Slack channel. So say I'm discussing something with my team, I want to just immediately hop on a board and brainstorm in real time or do a mind mapping exercise in real time. I can add a board directly from within Slack. So that are just a few of the really powerful integrations that we have available today with Miro. Again, both being able to bring in and access the tools that you use within the Mural board and also to go the other way around. So want to leave the last couple of last few minutes for questions that came through, and then also have a really quick retrospective here where Joanna's going to invite you all to the board, and then you can share sort of your takeaways or additional questions that you had based on the session.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Terrence. I have two questions here from John. The first question is, does the sprint planning and Kanban board push anything back to Jira, or does it have to be replicated back in Jira to reflect the Miro boards?
Yeah, so any changes, so if we go back to that example, whoops, if we go back to the Kanban board here, so all of these Jira tasks are live tasks, but the Kanban board that they're in is just a board component. So if I change something from backlog to in progress, it's not going to change that Jira status from backlog to in progress. But what you can do from within Miro is you can just edit the issue and you can change that status from right within Miro. So it doesn't automatically change just because we moved it within the board component, but I can edit the issue from within Miro to reflect any changes that were made. And vice versa, if you go into Jira, make any changes, those changes will automatically be reflected in the issue that's embedded in Miro.
Amazing, thank you. And second question from John, can you pull an embedded whiteboard into Sketch?
So not yet. We do not have the live embed available for Sketch today, but definitely something that we've heard from customers and are doing some exploration around working with Sketch to see if there are APIs available to enable that. Great question.
Awesome. Thanks, John, for the questions. Any other questions here? I know we're right at time. If not, you can leave your questions on the board and we'll answer them in comments. I've also linked the frame here just to get your feedback about what you liked and what you wish we covered. And for any missing information, we can definitely add it to the board. Otherwise, thank you everyone for joining and Terrence for such a great demo. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference and we'll see you in the Slack channel.